All right, time for a 12 Sports triple threat, man. The group chat was sure popping after Bobby Hurley popped off in the postgame and, of course, at the end of the game against U of A. Lina, did he go too far?
Well, I guess it depends on who you ask and which team you're representing. We know this rivalry has history of both sides being hyper-aggressive, borderline inappropriate to one another, the fan bases, the athletes, the coaches. I personally didn't see a whole lot of interaction between the players on the bench, but I wasn't sitting right behind them. I was surprised to see BJ Freeman take this action. Earlier this season, he was ejected for what he said was the first time in his career, and this is his first time playing in the Territorial Cup. So I was a bit surprised that was the step that he took, but shout out to Adam Miller for being the leader in this locker room, addressing the media, and now he's going to try to galvanize this team to move beyond this and close out Big 12 conference play with integrity and pride.
They need wins. Jake, you can't headbutt somebody, and then you can't react like Bobby Hurley did at the end of the game, right?
Yeah, for me, it's like Bobby Hurley can't have it both ways, because on the one hand, he wants to claim the high road and say he pulled his team off the court and canceled the handshake line to prevent something from happening.
Makes sense, right?
Right, yeah, by itself. But then you have his actions earlier in the game when he gets teed up, throws his tie all over the place. And then also 2 seconds later, after saying the reason why he canceled the postgame handshake line, also saying that he's not going to vote for Caleb Love in the end of season award. So like that kind of pettiness leads me to believe that he was being petty at the end of the game too. It wasn't, to prevent the players from going fisticuffs against each other. It was actually because he was really upset. So I just think, for a team that's really young, Bobby Hurley should maybe try and exemplify role model behavior.
It's worth noting he and Tommy Lloyd were very friendly before the game, dapping each other up,
of course
shoulder
they were,
taps.
right?
But yeah, I guess 40 minutes later, things can get heated and emotions run high, and they go their separate ways.
I'll say this. I'm a big Bobby Hurley fan. I believe he's the right coach for this team. I know some Sun Devil fans will disagree with that. I believe he's got a young team that needs time together to grow in a very tough conference, especially their young stars. But you can't do that stuff at the end of the game. I don't care if you were trying to prevent them from shaking hands and more things happening. Kenny Dillingham is a good example of that when they lost to Texas. Like, be a man, shake a hand at the end of the game, win or lose. That's what we're all taught since we were kids. You just can't pull stuff like that. It's a bad look for ASU, especially with the kind of season they're having, and then to be post-game complaining about it. Like, listen, you lost the game. That's bad enough. No need to add any more insult to injury after that. Where were you? What did you think when the basketball world stopped moving and Luka Dončić became a Laker?
I was enjoying my dinner with my family, a late dinner, but I thought I was tripping, to be honest with you. Maybe there was a hack, maybe there was a misspelling, maybe they put down the wrong number on the card that they were using to reference when they made the call, but it's shocking, right? And I think the whole basketball world is still trying to process how this happened, how it didn't get leaked, how the Dallas Mavericks could let this individual go after picking him up and causing a stir not too long ago. The franchise player, the future of the Mavericks, now becoming a Laker, and more the rich gets richer, right? I mean, like, LA needs more superstars.
How dare they help the Lakers? Jake?
Yeah,
there's like 2 cities in this entire country that's big enough for both the deferred money Dodgers and then also the Luka Lakers in the same city, and LA is definitely one of them. To answer your first question, though, Cam, about where was I was
right here,
minutes away from standing exactly where you are,
somewhere over here,
and going on air. And I desperately wanted to mention this, but I was so shocked that the Mavericks could be trading Luka that I thought, someone had gotten hacked.
We all thought it was fake.
Right? I thought that it was misinformation, and I didn't want to go on there and say Luka is now a Los Angeles Laker, so I decided to not say anything and see what happened, and now we can safely say that it's true. Insane. I still haven't wrapped my mind around how it all came to be.
I think the reaction on social media from all the other professional athletes from across sports, the NFL, you have Patrick Mahomes, diehard Mavs fan. You have the Suns players on the bench in Portland reacting on their phone.
Yeah, it was interesting to see. I was at dinner too as well, Lina, and all of a sudden, like, the alert goes out, and you look around, you like see people's heads moving, and like everybody kind of got the same thing, and it just like spread throughout the restaurant too as well. And then scrolling, you're like, this is how you know a trade is bad. Like when the entire world reacts like, this has got to be fake. There's no way it's possible. You don't trade a 25-year-old guy in his prime, the future of your franchise, all the above, the guy you bet everything around, who, by the way, 8 months ago led you to the NBA Finals, right? The Mavs are winning too in January. I believe they have one of the best winning percentage in January. And so that's the guy you're going to trade for a guy that's made of glass. Sure, Anthony Davis is great. We all know that. But he has a long history of injuries, also older than Luka. It was shocking. It was shocking to say the least. It's very interesting, and I wish the Mavs would have just came out and said, we don't want him anymore. That's what it boils down to. They clearly did not want him around. They did not want to pay him in the future, and they were done with his antics, whether it is his laziness, bad defense, doesn't stay in shape, all the above. They were just done with him. I wish they would have said that as the reason than by saying, hey, we believe Anthony Davis will make us a championship-level contender on defense.
I have to wonder that those are things, like, why can't you get past those things? Why can't you message to him that, like, hey,
we want to work on this.
To get to the next level, this is what you need to do, and work with him to accomplish those things. It's hardly like this was preventing him from being good.
Sure.
Like, this is a top 5 player in the NBA.
An All-NBA 5 times in a row.
Right. Last year,
should have won MVPs, but
they were in the NBA Finals. Like, I just don't understand. But again, so if you decide that you don't want this player, why are we then just going to make this a closed-door negotiation where you accept the first offer given to you by the one team that's offering it to you? When you trade a player like Luka, you should be driving the cost up by negotiating with as many teams as possible. So it feels to me like the return was low.
And that was another thing. The Mavs GM is supposedly buddy-buddy with Rob Pelinka, the Lakers GM over there. It's like that was it, very simple. Mikal Bridges, if you remember that trade here with the Suns, got 5 first-round picks. That's how many the Suns had to give up in that trade for Kevin Durant. Luka, only 1.
I'm looking forward to now the BLA movement with Luka in a Lakers jersey because we know the Devin Booker, Luka Dončić rivalry is going to be heightened even more with him wearing purple and gold and stepping foot in Phoenix here.
I'm not even sure that this trade makes the Lakers more competitive this year. I don't
long term.
I don't even think. Yeah, obviously, but I don't think the competitiveness for this season was ever the point. I don't think they were legitimate contenders to win an NBA title this year.
Yeah.
But the point is, they now have someone who's the face of their franchise once LeBron retires. And I think the value of that, you can't put a price tag on that.
It is unforgivable to help the Lakers. I don't care who you are.
Cam, you're in the camp of, this trade should be vetoed, right?
How does Adam Silver let this go? Pull a David Stern. Pull the rug out. This can't happen.
Because
why do they keep getting away with it?
Lakers
just get a generational star every 10 years? This is just how it works?
I mean, Adam Silver entered the league into chaos. Why not create more chaos with major blockbuster trades like this, sending the NBA Twitter sphere into a complete firestorm, disarray, whatever you want to call it. They're talking about it. They will be talking about it for, gosh, maybe even seasons to come, depending on how this ends up.
All right, let's play future. Let's see what happens this week. Real quick, Sacramento finalizing a trade to send De'Aaron Fox to the San Antonio Spurs. Multi-team trade. That move involves Chicago's Bulls guy, Zach LaVine, to the Kings too as well. So Zach LaVine was supposed to be plan B for the Suns if this whole Jimmy Butler thing doesn't work out. So let's kind of look into the future. What do the Suns do this week? Do they make a move? Is Jimmy Butler the guy?
No answers for that. At this point,
they both ducked.
Can happen.
No, we're not going to answer
it. I mean, how it happens, I don't know. Financially, with the contracts that they have to move and the players that are available, the players they'd have to ship, the assets.
Well, Bradley Beal has to say yes. And reportedly, they haven't asked him yet.
Yes, he has to waive his no trade clause. And who would do that? If you have a family and you want to stay put and you have that power, as 2 individuals in the league who have that power right now, why would you get rid of that?
That 5-team trade everybody wanted to see with the De'Aaron Fox news is starting to kind of fade away now. Doesn't look like that's a reality anymore.
We talked about the Suns status last week, and I didn't make a point that I then regretted that I wanted to make. I don't think the Suns should trade Bradley Beal. And here's why. Because to do so would be mortgaging the future. Like they are saying.
The little future that they have.
Right.
On the books.
So I think they need to be going in the opposite direction. Stay as competitive as you can right now. But to me, I don't think the upgrade from Bradley Beal to Jimmy Butler is enough to make this team all of a sudden one of the elite teams in the NBA. So if you're doing that move and then selling, assets that are going to make you more competitive 5-10 years from now, that's not a move I think they should be making. If you want to trade Nurkic, get out of his salary, fine. Or if you want to trade Beal and get out of his salary, fine, but you should not be attaching picks to it to try and get Jimmy Butler.
It's interesting you bring that up. I was talking to Eddie Johnson earlier, and he just says his team needs more attitude. And that's kind of something that I've thought for a long time. You get Jimmy Butler, like, that's a lot of attitude. That's a CP3 level, bringing attitude, holding people accountable when he's happy, apparently, as we've all seen. That's what I think Devin Booker needs. You need a tag team partner with some attitude who's going to help hold the rest of this team accountable, who's going to raise everybody's level of play in a sense. Kind of what we saw in the 2021 finals run when you had guys like Jay Crowder, even guys like Mikal Bridges and Cam Payne who were dancing on everybody's grave every night. You just need some attitude and swagger with this team because they don't have any. Teams don't fear them whatsoever. We see that night in and night out. Teams have no problem, whether they got no talent, some talent, or a lot of talent. They have no problem whatsoever going against the Suns and this supposedly big three that they have whatsoever. So they need some more attitude. That's where I think Jimmy would really help. But Jake, to your point, I don't know, one, if Bradley Beal would do this. Second, I don't know who's lining up to help the Suns. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense that they could really pull off something. But if they can get some attitude, maybe a guy to go along with Nick Richards down low, if you can get away from Nurk kind of underneath, maybe that's the way to go. But this big trade that's just going to bring another star here, I just don't know if it works.
Well, you say attitude. I mean, that could have a bunch of different connotations. When I think Jimmy
I need a mean guy. I need someone who's going to hold somebody accountable.
I don't need that negative energy right now with a team
but
that's
what if
already
it's
on edge
positive
and not
negative?
as successful as they
so
want
you're
it to
saying
be
it's
right
as simple
now.
as flipping a switch with Jimmy Butler.
It seems that way, like he's happy until he's unhappy.
But which would be as simple as that.
And if they're going to pay him, if they're going to
suddenly
give him this
heat culture,
contract,
then it's I want out of heat culture.
Yeah.
How quickly that can turn. I mean, he was the centerpiece for this franchise, and now he wants nothing to do with them.
Doesn't he want to be around
Do you want
Pat
that
Riley?
kind of volatile personality in this locker room with all of the personalities and the tension that might be brewing right now? I mean,
yes.
Nurkic is hitting
Sounds
people.
like great
He's
drama.
Not talking to the
you
coach.
love TV
You've
drama,
got new
Lina.
personalities coming in. You've got maybe guys who are unhappy with the roles. Who knows? And then you bring in a new factor like a Jimmy Butler, an alpha dog. Yes, he will be able to rally the team and bring that swagger, that competitiveness, that dog on the court.
Yeah.
But it's where that dog shows up and how it materializes that's going to be important. That's the X factor. And yes, the 2021 team had attitude and swagger, and they were winning, and they had soul. They were united. And I don't know if we've gotten that since that team.
Lina, we haven't. Like, not even close.
To me,
we haven't seen any of that.
To me, it feels like it's been since 2021 that Jimmy Butler has been a positive attitude for a team. I know it hasn't actually been that long, but that's what it feels like, because at this point, it doesn't seem like he's lifting the spirits of any organization that he touches.
All right, do the Suns make a move, yes or no? Jake?
Yeah, they'll make a move, but I don't think Bradley Beal is leaving.
Lina?
I'm going to say they stand pat and don't make any moves.
I say they make a move. Bring on Jimmy Butler. Go win a title. Please, let's plan a parade.